We are here tonight to talk about opening the heart door. Opening the heart door. So what we mean by that is finding ways to remain open-hearted, to combat all of the division and the problems that we have right now, all of the pain and the suffering, right? We call that the heart sickness. And I want to start with just a short quote from Boundless Heart here by Christina Feldman. This is all about the Brahmavihāras, which is a Buddhist practice that we're going to talk about a little bit later. So the quote is, "Empathy and embodiment together are the nature of compassion. Empathy teaches us to listen and to understand suffering and its causes. Embodiment is concerned with what we do with that understanding. Embodiment asks for courage. A compassionate life is a fearless life." Right? Christina was very wise. She is very wise, and has a lot to teach us about the heart and about heart practices. And this book is fantastic, and I love using it as a reference and in all of my practice and teaching. The Brahmavihāras, again, we're going to talk a little bit more in depth about them later, but they are the root of my personal practice, something that I enjoy using not only in meditation practice, but also in Reiki treatments and healing practices inside my treatment room, because you can use these little phrases that we're going to go over to really just heal yourself and to heal other people. But before we get to that, let's ask ourselves, why do we need to heal? What is it that's causing that door to close? So our primary things that cause heart sickness are anger and resentment, which that's a hard one, right? And for those of us who practice Reiki, it's one of the major principles, do not anger. And I've talked about this in a couple podcasts. It's impossible to just not anger, unless I guess you're an enlightened being, right? If you've already reached enlightenment, if you've already meditated your way through all the problems, yeah, you won't anger. It's wonderful. But for the rest of us, we're going to get angry, and that's a normal thing. Me too. In fact, that is the reference that I use almost every time is, I'm driving down the road, somebody cuts me off, and whoop, there goes all the bad words. Everything, and lots of anger. And all you have to do in that moment is go, oh, I got angry. Well, oh well, start again, right? That's right, why it's a practice. We start again and again and again. Another cause of that heart sickness is fear and worry. I love how many of these things relate directly to Reiki without me realizing that when I wrote my notes. But fear and worry, right? Our fear is going to cause us to close in on ourselves, to shut down. That's both physically and metaphorically closing that heart door as we close in on ourselves. And that worry is doing the same thing. It's disconnecting us from our ground. It's making us all up here in this headspace, and we're not living from our core, from our center. The next two are grief and loss. Things, again, that we can't control, that are going to happen in our lifetimes, that are going to happen to us throughout our existence. There's always going to be loss. There's always going to be grief. And the grief can be around loss, but grief can also be around other situations. It can be political, it can be social, it can be anything, really. I mean, you can grieve the smallest things, and it can really impact you. And when you're in that grieving mode, you're not necessarily in that giving heart space. And maybe you don't need to be. Maybe that is what you need in that moment, is to shut that door, keep what you have for yourself, and just kind of stay inside for a little bit. But then we have to learn to reopen that door, step out, and exist again, right? And that's the hard part. The hard part is coming back out of that sort of closed off protective space. This also will lead to feeling disconnected or isolated, right? When you're inside of that little closed off space. We're not going to relate to people as easily. We're not going to see comparisons, reasons why we're the same as somebody else, reasons why we can hold that person in compassion even if they did something we didn't like, or if they did something that we didn't agree with, right? Because we're not able to go, oh, you did that thing, but I see that you're also this person. I know that I've struggled with that a lot in my life, continue to struggle with that. It happens all the time, even right now with the political divisions and the social divisions and the different things that we're seeing, I'm finding it difficult. I know that I had visceral reactions to recent news and, had a lot of anger with recent news where I was like, no, I absolutely agree with this thing. And then I was like, should I agree with that thing? Is that my actual beliefs? Is that actually who I am or who I want to be? Or is it just that instantaneous reaction, that feeling, that isolationism?
It's a trigger that the media is looking for.
Exactly.
They're trying to trigger us into that knee-jerk reaction. Everybody's susceptible to it at some level, which is what you're saying.
And we all are. Everyone is, like you said. And it doesn't matter how, perfect you are as a person, I guess, unless you're enlightened. I think even an enlightened person might have a little bit of a moment to be like, oh, no, actually, I don't believe that. They'd have to have that moment to register, oh, there's that thought, there's that thing, but they catch it before it comes out. That's the difference. And then the last thing that I have on here is self-judgment and unworthiness.
Ooh, that's a big one.
That self-judgment, those self-doubts, those negative self-talk moments. I'm not good enough. I'm not worthy. I don't belong. The imposter syndrome, right? I know I feel that. I'm feeling it a little bit right now. I'm standing in front of people who have taught me over the years, right? I'm standing in front of people who remember me as a teenager, and now I'm up here talking in front of them, which is
Because that's what we wanted.
not scary. But that unworthiness, that self-doubt, that judgment on yourself, again, closing that door. You're not being your true self. You're not expressing exactly who you are with all of the love that you could when you're hating on yourself. Because that's just going to slam that door every time. And every time that thought comes up, slam. You might open that door again and slam over and over again. But again, that's why this is all a practice. Because we're practicing opening that door. We're practicing being better people. Even if other people aren't going to do it for themselves, we're going to do it for ourselves. Because that's what it means for us. That we know we're doing something for ourselves. So, some of the ways that we can start engaging in these practices are by using sacred sound, mantras, even sound bowls, sound baths. We can start to get to a calmer place, start to engage that parasympathetic nervous system where we're able to actually rest. We're able to get out of the fight and flight. We're able to start living from a place where we're not in fear. We're not in unworthiness. And those can be in other languages, but they can just as easily be in English. For whatever reason, here in the West, we so often are like, oh, well, these words have so much more power than English. Yes, because we like ceremony, because we like that thing, and it's missing from our society a lot. But just as easily, you could say, I am enough. I am enough. I am at peace. May I be at peace. May I be loved, right? You can say these mantras, even if they're in a form of asking. Or you can, like I said, the first one, I am enough. You can say it as an affirmative. I already know that I am. I already know that I belong. And just claim it, you know? Even if you're faking it till you make it. It works. It works every time. Fake it till you make it. And then you can also do things, again, where we're going into the Brahmavihāras here. The names of the Brahmavihāras are Metta, Karuna, Mudita, Upekkha. And that alone, that phrase of those 4 words, is enough to help represent what they are. And they'll often be chanted in that way, just sitting and chanting those 4 words over and over again. So with that, with any mantra, we can also add in meditation, bringing a little bit more mindfulness and focus. We can't change something if we're not aware of it first. So that mindfulness or meditation aspect is crucial because we have to begin to understand, oh, there's something wrong. I'm not acting from my heart. And usually when we're just going about our daily lives, not paying attention, we're not going to notice that. We might notice, oh, I'm more angry. We might notice, oh, I'm more depressed. We might notice, oh, people aren't liking me as much for some reason. Well, it's probably because you're not as open. And people notice that before they ever talk to you, before they ever even see you. They step into that sort of field of space around you and they notice, oh, this is somebody who's not accepting or somebody who's ready to share what they have to share. And a big part of these practices and a big part of stepping into this is compassion. Coming out with compassionate care. Simple things like little acts of kindness, helping a neighbor, helping a friend, smiling at somebody, complimenting somebody's outfit, their hair. I was just at a 3-day HR conference, and we were doing chair massages, free chair massages. That's lovely, made a lot of people feel great. But I watched 1 or 2 people just completely light up when somebody said, "That's a beautiful dress. Those are amazing shoes." And I mean it. Because I saw them when you came in, I was like, okay. But just a simple compliment of somebody, of something that you notice about them. I love your glasses. And just noticing something, right? You instantly see that bit of joy, that little light. And that is you opening your heart, but it's helping them to open theirs too. So it's kind of doing both at once. You're opening your own heart center, and you're helping them to open theirs, even just a little bit. So you guys have heard me say Brahmavihāras so many times. What are the Brahmavihāras? They are the divine abodes. The divine abodes. Yes, the place where you would live. Yep, the divine places to live. Where in meditation, if you are using these practices, they will put you in a space of love, of compassion, of heart-centered care. It's why I make them the basis of my practice. It's why a lot of people make them the basis of their practice, is because the Brahmavihāras or the 4 divine abodes just automatically put you into this space. So in Buddhist practice, or I should say in Pali, the original language that all of the Buddhist scriptures were written in, there's a word called citta, and it translates as heart-mind. Because in Pali, there was not a separation of the heart and the mind. They were one thing and they acted together. That was their understanding. We act from our heart-mind. We speak from our heart-mind. And with that, it's all about our intentions. It's all about who we are and how we're going to be. And so the idea of the Brahmavihāras is that they help you speak from a place of an open heart-mind, of a kind heart-mind. So the Brahmavihāras are Metta, or loving-kindness practice, which is meant to cultivate unconditional friendliness. It is wishing somebody well. It is the practice that we're actually going to be doing tonight in a little bit. And they're phrases like, may you be loved, may you be safe, may you be free from suffering. And we'll add phrases as you go, and you can make up your own phrases. You can do this in the formal way that we're going to do it, or my mentor likes to sing, and so she'll sing it, and she'll just put a little tune to it, and may you be loved, may you be happy, may you be healthy, may you be, this and that. So make it your own. Make that practice your own. The next of the 4 divine abodes is karuna, or compassion. Again, for those of us who study Reiki, you may know that William Lee Rand created Karuna Reiki. It's compassion Reiki. And with that, it's supposed to help engage tenderness towards suffering, right? In that practice, we say, I see your suffering, and I send you love and compassion. I see what you are going through. I see your hardships, and I care for you. I hold you in that light. And then after that, we go to mudita. And they don't have to go in this specific order. But mudita is sympathetic joy. Sympathetic joy. And that is because it is very, very hard when you see somebody else get that raise. You see somebody else get that job that you wanted and that you've tried for the last year. You see somebody else doing extremely well in their business, and your business isn't doing as well. And you have to go, man, I really love that for you. Right? It's that moment of recognizing somebody else has done something well or gotten something. And instead of saying, man, I wish I would have gotten that. Why couldn't I have gotten that, right? That closes that heart door. Instead of doing that, it says, wow, you did a wonderful thing. You got a wonderful thing, and I celebrate that for you. And that is going to help you to delight in other people's happiness, which, again, that fake it till you make it, when you delight in somebody else's happiness, you are going to be happier. Right? If you're holding on to the feelings of resentment, if you're holding on to the feelings of, I wish it was me, then you're going to be shutting off your heart. But if you're opening up and saying, wow, that's so beautiful. I'm so glad that you got this opportunity. I'm so glad that you had this success. Now you're celebrating their joy, and you're going to be more joyful because you're not holding that pain in. And the last of the 4 divine abodes is upekkha, and that stands for equanimity. That's that separation piece. It's going to help you have balance and more spaciousness within yourself. Because again, just like with the mudita, the sympathetic joy, where you're recognizing somebody else's successes, with upekkha, with this equanimity, we're saying, I see what you're going through, or I see what you've created, but that's not mine. I don't have to hold that. So yeah.
I'm sorry, because I don't want to be interrupted. Maybe there'll be a chance later to ask questions, I don't know, but I was wondering, so is the Boundless Heart book, is a lot of that, what you're describing, covered in that book?
It is.
Okay.
Yeah, so with the Boundless Heart book, she goes over each one of these practices and different ways to do it and in depth. There are several other authors who have written about these. The Brahmavihāras, the heart practices. If you look up Metta or Loving-Kindness, there's even more of that. Yeah.
Do you think, like, I feel like I'm probably, at least one other person in this room could probably identify with me, if not more, I don't know, but I feel like as I've gotten older, I don't know, on my spiritual path, I've gotten so sensitive, like so, I don't know, like just so sensitive that I can get thrown off sometimes if I don't know, like maybe I care about somebody and they're going through something and like I pick up on that. So I've been, in my own practice, like I've started using this singing bowls a lot, finding different things to try to help me maintain my own energy and not be overtaken sometimes, or just end up being a recluse, which I'm in danger of doing sometimes. But do you think the equanimity practices, like when you think of these 4 different categories, is that like some of the practices for equanimity would be most helpful for those sorts of issues? Or?
Yeah, I absolutely do. I absolutely do. Exactly what you're talking about, right? You see somebody going through some kind of pain, you see that, and you instantly want to go into like caregiver mode and like, let me hold that for you. Let me take care of that for you. Let me, try to balance that weight with you. And so the equanimity practice says, I see that you're going through this and I acknowledge that, but I cannot hold that. That is not mine to hold. A good example is I was working with a client who had a lot of problems with one of their parents. And, they were like, well, I know that they're a good person, but they always get themselves into these situations, and then I'm worried, and then I'm concerned about all this, and now it's affecting, I can't eat, I can't sleep, there's all this stuff. And so what we did is we went through the equanimity practices, and you see, let's say it's the father, and you say, Dad, I see that you are having this suffering, but that suffering is of your own making, and I am not responsible for you. And it's just, again, it is that practice of a mantra, basically, where you're telling yourself and letting yourself know, hey, it's okay. They created this. They are the ones who enacted the steps to make that suffering. And while I can help them, while I can look at it from afar, I don't have to either. It's not mine to hold. I can step in and say, hey, I can help you with this one thing, but that's it. And it's kind of a part of boundary setting as well. Yeah.
Cool. Discernment and boundaries.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And so with these Brahmavihāras, right, Metta is going to help dissolve anger and self-hatred, right? That loving kindness is going to help dissolve that anger. Because I see you and I love you, right? In Metta practice, we typically start from the self. We wish ourselves well. We wish ourselves love and healing. And then we go to somebody who is easy to love, right? Somebody who you already love deeply and want around all the time. And you wish them well. May you be loved. May you be happy. May you be healthy. May you be free from suffering. And then we go to somebody who's neutral. Somebody who you kind of know, or maybe you pass on the street every day, or maybe they work in a different department, so you maybe know their name, but you don't have any big ties to them. May you be happy. May you be loved. May you be healthy. And from there, it gets more difficult. There we go to somebody who's a little bit more difficult to love. Somebody who we've had a few conflicts with. Maybe just a little disagreement. You don't want it anything too big. Start wishing them well. Eventually, and I wouldn't recommend this for, probably a few months of practice. Eventually, you can start doing people who are very difficult for you to love. Start noticing how that shifts your perspective, right? I know a lot of people who are doing it with politicians, who are saying, hey, I don't agree with you at all, but may you be loved. May you be healthy, because even you deserve that love. Even you deserve that compassion as a human, as another being. And you can work into that, but that's not the easiest thing to do. And just like we always start with the self, we always end with the self as well. So we start by filling our cup. We give love to other people, and then we refill our cup at the end, right? This practice can evolve as well. You can also do it for a teacher or a benefactor. You can do it for a geographical location, so your city, your town, your state. You can do it for the world and may all beings, the universe. And if you can conceive multiverses, you could go even that far out and start wishing this greater love for all beings. So when we go back to compassion with karuna, compassion softens grief and judgment, right? We're giving compassion. We see somebody in pain and we hold them in care. We notice that pain, that's part of it. We recognize that pain, that they're suffering, right? And we can do the same for ourselves. We recognize our pain, we recognize our suffering, and we hold that in care and compassion. Turn the page. Sympathetic joy. With that, we heal envy and scarcity. The idea, again, I wish I had what you have. Why don't I have enough? We start to witness somebody else's success. We start to celebrate their success, and then we can also realize what we have is successful. We can do it for ourselves. Man, I woke up today and I brushed my hair and teeth. That is an awesome success, right? That's a win. I, got dressed and I have matching socks and shoes. Hey, I did not forget my pants today. That's great. It's those little moments of joy that you can make into bigger moments with compassion practice. And equanimity steadies our fear and worry, and specifically our worry. We start worrying over these things that somebody else is going through. And, I wish I could do, I wish I could help, but I'm across the country, I'm somewhere else, I'm hours away, I'm at work, and I can't leave. Well, let me do just 5 minutes of equanimity practice. Let me just take a moment, realize what they're going through, and acknowledge that it's of their making or of their responsibility, and try to separate myself from it. Doesn't work every time? No. But that's when you go back to compassion and hold yourself in compassion. That's when you go back to loving kindness and give yourself loving kindness. If you can't go into that situation and you can't fully separate yourself from it, care for yourself in the state that you're in. Right?
It's very 360.
Mm-hmm. Bringing it back. And so we can do this every day, right? This is not a one and done practice. This is something that you work on continuously. It's how you cultivate that kindness and awareness within yourself. It's how you cultivate this as a almost instant response to these situations is by practicing it, right? I would have never thought to do loving kindness even 10 years ago, and I've been practicing this since I was 15. I would never have thought to use that in so many situations that I can use it in now, because now I've made it part of my practice. I've made it a daily thing where I try to go, may you be loved, may you be well. I see somebody suffering, sure, I can send them Reiki and energy, but I can also send them, may you be loved, may you be well, right? And for those of us that are energy work practitioners, these phrases, you can see how they could be used in a practice. I use these in my treatment room all the time. I use it to help people access their heart. I use it to do the mental emotional healing, that we learn at level 2 of Reiki if you're in that practice, so that we can really make true changes within people. But maybe you don't have time to do that practice. Well, just pause. Take a few deep breaths, right? That's a great way to recenter. It's a great way to go, okay, I shut that heart door, I stepped away for a minute, let me breathe, realize it's okay, I'm safe, right? Again, nervous system regulation. I'm safe, it's okay. I can breathe, I can come back out, now I can be a person again. And that can be really hard. And we all just kind of make our way in this world of chaos as best we can and try to do it as kindly as we can. Obviously, this is part of that sympathetic joy practice, but you can celebrate just small joys for other people. And of course, for yourself, like we were talking about. And you can use the Brahmavihāras as a journaling prompt. So you can come from that as a journaling prompt, and you can write down the people who you want to wish well, type of thing. You can use it as part of your prayers that you do if you're a person who sits down every night and prays, or every morning and prays, right? That can be part of your prayers. It can be part of your distance healing practice if you do distance healing. You can write down things that, are not yours to handle. You can say, hey, that's mine. Maybe even put it on a sticky note, put it on the wall. Oh, I'm worrying about this thing. Oh, I'm not supposed to deal with that. That's not mine to deal with. That's right. Yeah. Or the little, moments of compassion, or the sympathetic joy moments. I'm celebrating this person because they got this great thing. I love that so much for them. And put that somewhere. And then you're walking around the house and you're just really in a bad mood, or you're having a bad day, and you see that and you're like, oh yeah, they did have that moment. They did have that success. That's wonderful. And you can kind of jog yourself back into a place of loving awareness. So, real quick, before we go into this practice, and we'll have some more time for questions, is there any questions that are just burning right now? No. All right, Shane, you want to step over there? So we're going to be doing a loving kindness practice. And I think we're going to do a little bit less than the very difficult person, because I feel like things are a little heavy anyway right now. So we're going to start with ourselves, and then we're going to go to somebody who's easy to love, somebody who's neutral, and then from there we'll probably go to all beings and just wish on a greater scale. That way we're not honing in on one person, and we'll come back to ourselves before we come back to awareness of the room. Yeah? So why don't we take whatever positions of comfort. If you need to move, that's fine. If you need to stand at any time, that's fine. It's all right. Letting our eyes close, or having a gentle downward gaze if it's not comfortable for you to have your eyes closed. Allowing for a few deeper breaths. Beginning just to calm. Right now, we're not trying to do anything. Just trying to find a little stillness and comfort. Maybe following the breath as it flows naturally in and out. Maybe feeling the rise and fall of the chest or stomach. And if at any time during this practice your mind begins to wander, and you start thinking about what might be happening at home or at work or on your phone while you're not attentive to it, know that that's normal. Not only is it normal, but it's perfectly okay. Just notice if your mind wanders, maybe smile or laugh at it a little. trying to avoid that negative self-talk, just gently bringing that focus back to whatever we're prompting at that moment, or just back to the breath. Now that we've settled in a little bit, I invite you to take a moment to scan over your body on the inside and see if you can find a place of deep comfort. Maybe it's in your heart, maybe it's in your belly, maybe it's in your neck or your shoulders, or somewhere else that you just feel really safe and comfortable. And as we go into this practice, know that if it becomes uncomfortable at any time, that you can return to that space and go back to wishing yourself well, or just paying attention to your breath. Now I invite you, if you will, to bring your attention to your heart center. If it helps, you can place a hand or two over this heart center area, right there at the middle of the chest, just over the sternum. Or you can leave your hands where they are if that's more comfortable. And while you're in this heart center space, I invite you to look around. Notice the doors on your heart center. Are they massive? Are they small? Are they gold, blue, green, colorless? Are they solid or corrugated? Maybe it's like Swiss cheese and there's holes. Just take a moment to investigate what those doors look like for you. Maybe noticing if they're open or closed. Maybe slightly open with just a little bit of that love pouring out. Taking a moment to be curious about your own heart center, your own citta, heart-mind. Now, if you found that those doors were closed tight, see if you can open it just a little bit. Just let a little trickle of light come through those doors. If this makes you feel uncomfortable, maybe talking to a guide, spirit, or ancestor, and asking them to be a guard of that door for you. Knowing that there'll be somebody there helping you to protect yourself as you start to open to a little vulnerability. And from this place, bring forth a vision of yourself. It can be you as you are now. It can be you as a child. It can be you at any point in your life. Just something that speaks to you as this is me. And repeating the phrases silently or quietly aloud. And you can use phrases of your own if you don't resonate with mine. May I be loved. May I be loved. May I be loved. May I be safe and healthy. May I be safe and healthy. May I be safe and healthy. May I be happy and balanced. May I be happy and balanced. May I be happy and balanced. May I be free from suffering. May I be free from suffering. May I be free from suffering. And may I be loved. May I be loved. May I be loved. Taking just a moment to sit in all of the energy of love and self-care that you've cultivated. Noticing how it makes that heart-mind feel. Noticing if the door to your heart center is a little bit more open. Being curious with your own mind and heart. Remember, if your mind begins to wander, just be caring and compassionate with yourself. Gently refocus. I now invite you to release that vision of yourself and bring forth a vision of somebody who is so easy for you to love. Somebody who you already love deeply, who you care for more than anyone else. This can be a person, it can be a pet, it can be a plant. It can be your favorite stuffed animal if it needs to be. Something that feels safe. This person can be living or past. That you just love so effortlessly and deeply. And again, choosing phrases of your own or repeating the ones that I say. May you be loved. May you be loved. May you be loved. May you find peace and deep joy. May you find peace and deep joy. May you find peace and deep joy. May you be healthy and happy. May you be healthy and happy. May you be healthy and happy. May you be safe and balanced. May you be safe and balanced. May you be safe and balanced. But most of all, may you be loved. May you be loved. May you be truly loved. Recognizing the love that you've shared with this easy to love person, this dear person, this dear pet or friend, acquaintance. Maybe giving them a brief, energetic hug, sharing once more in that love that you were wishing them. And then releasing that vision of that easy to love person, pet, thing, friend. Taking a moment to check in on yourself before we move on. How is my heart mind? How are those doors to my heart center? Are they open further? Did they close a little bit further? Does it feel more comfortable or less comfortable? These are not judgments of good and bad, they're just knowledge from which you can act afterwards. Now I invite you to think of somebody who's neutral to you. Somebody who you see every once in a while, but you don't really know. You don't have a lot of joyful thoughts of this person. You don't have a lot of hateful thoughts of this person. Maybe it's the barista who makes your coffee. Maybe it's the person in the next suite or office over from yours. You might greet them in the morning, but that's the extent of your relationship. Bring that vision of that person into that heart space, knowing that you're safe and protected. Again, if it feels uncomfortable, asking for that guide, spirit, or ancestor to be there to help protect that space as you bring that neutral person in. And choosing phrases of your own or repeating my phrases. May you be loved. May you be loved. May you be loved. May you be safe and happy. May you be safe and happy. May you be safe and happy. May you be held in compassionate care. May you be held in compassionate care. May you be held in compassionate care. May you be free from suffering and pain. May you be free from suffering and pain. May you be free from suffering and pain. And may you be loved. May you be loved. May you be loved. Taking a moment to look upon this neutral person in love, this neutral pet or friend. Noticing how it makes you feel as you hold them in love. This person who hasn't done anything to earn that from you. This person who hasn't done anything to hinder that from you. And releasing that vision of that person. Checking in with yourself again. How am I doing? Is my mind wandering at my grocery list? Am I thinking about what's going on at home? Am I fully in this meditation and focused at the heart center? Is my heart door wide open as I've wished well to myself, someone easy to love, and someone neutral? Is it a little closed, fearing that vulnerability is scary? That's okay. Know that any state you're in right now is okay. These practices aren't easy. Meditation is not simple. It is difficult and takes concentration and awareness and beginning again and again. I'm going to add to our meditation here, and I want you to bring forth a vision of this room and everybody in it. You don't have to picture everybody perfectly if you didn't get a good look at them. You don't have to know what they were wearing when they came in. Just have an idea of the hearts and energies of this room, or just the boundaries of this room, and just imagine the people inside. And again, either choosing phrases of your own or repeating the phrases that I'm going to say. May you all be loved. May you all be loved. May you all be loved. May you all be safe and healthy. May you all be safe and healthy. May you all be safe and healthy. May you all be happy and balanced. May you all be happy and balanced. May you all be happy and balanced. And may you all be loved. May you all be loved. May you all be loved. Either keeping the vision of this room or zooming out even further from this room to bring in all beings. For you, this can be all beings locally, globally, or maybe even in the universe. Bringing some idea of all beings to your mind and heart center. Holding them in compassion as we wish all beings well. May all beings be loved. May all beings be loved. May all beings be loved. May all beings be safe and happy. May all beings be safe and happy. May all beings be safe and happy. May all beings be free from suffering and pain. May all beings be free from suffering and pain. May all beings be free from suffering and pain. And may all beings be loved. May all beings be truly and deeply loved. May all beings be loved. Taking a moment to notice how wishing all beings well sits with you. Notice what that's done to your heart and mind. Maybe notice what it's done to your gut. How are you feeling right now? And from that place of self-reflection, bring the vision of yourself back into being. As you begin to wish yourself well, knowing that you're refilling your cup, may I be loved. May I be loved. May I be loved. May I be happy and healthy. May I be happy and healthy. May I be happy and healthy. May I be free from suffering. May I be free from suffering. May I be free from suffering. And may I be loved. May I be loved. May I be loved. For I am deserving of love. Taking just another moment to sit in love, to sit in that rich heart space. Noticing how you feel. Releasing that vision of yourself, taking a look at those heart doors. Notice if there's any changes. Did they change in size or color? Did they change in openness? Is the lighting different? What about the weather? And from this place of awareness, we step back and we notice the breath again as it's flowing effortlessly in and out. Something that is completely out of our control and yet within our grasp. With us from the moment we're born to the moment that we stop. And begin to feel into the touch points of the body. The touch points are where your body is meeting the floor or chair. Maybe you notice your feet on the floor. Maybe you notice your sit bones against the chair, your shoulders against the back of the chair. Notice the weight of your body. Maybe begin to bring some movement into the fingers or toes. Start to bringing that energy back into the physical body. And when you feel ready, allowing your eyes to open and coming back fully present into the room.